Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Come Let Us Reason Together. I am your host, Yandea, and joining me today, okay, is my brother. Not just any brother. Today, he's my birthday brother. My brother, my brother and co-host, Duane. Duane is back from Jamaica. Do you look a little bit darker? Do you look tanned up? I don't know. I don't
I
know.
look a bit. I look a bit.
Just
Just
a
a
little bit.
little uh,
I
even up
definitely,
with the skin tone.
yeah, I need some sun, but we won't talk about that, okay? So, Duane, you are back. I missed you so much doing this live without you last week. I
Mhm.
was like, we need to figure out this vacation thing, how it's gonna work, whatever, because we're not trying to do that again, okay?
Yes.
So, how are you, brother? How was your trip? Tell us about that. Tell us a little bit about, your auntie turned 100 years old. So just
Hmm.
a little thing, about your trip, how it was.
Yes. I'm well. My trip was very, very good. I needed time away. I loved being able to be in the sunshine. It wasn't like not every day was sunshiny. Some days were a little rainy, but every day was nice still. Like the weather was warm, and just being able to soak up that and not only the sunshine but the atmosphere in Jamaica, the scents, the smells, the music, the culture, like it's just so nice to just be immersed in that atmosphere. And it was really beautiful. My aunt turned 100 years old. This is my dad's older sister, and she's like the last living matriarch, I guess, in our family, like the oldest matriarch for sure in our family. And she's still very spirited, very spirited, very get up and go, ready to help and serve people, still physically able to go and do what she needs to do. In fact, she went to the market on last Friday, with my mom and my aunt, and she ended up putting them to sit down because she said they were slowing her down while she was trying to go and do what she needed to do in the market. They were slowing her down, and they're like significantly younger than her. So that's just to show you how, like, she's still, every Friday we'll go to the market and we'll do her thing. She runs her partner, and she's just living her life, and she's just beautiful, a beautiful, wise older lady. And it was nice to just spend time with her, and we were able to ask her questions about like my father, and also questions about like our ancestry, like grandparents and great grandparents, and just glean from whatever memories and experiences and wisdom she had. And so, yeah, it was just a very beautiful experience. I wish I could have stayed longer, but it was enough. Yeah.
You came back right in time for your birthday.
Yes.
You came back right in time for your birthday, came back right in
Yeah.
time to do this, to not leave me alone.
I was trying to make it happen last week, but the Wi-Fi was not trying to make it happen. So,
I hear you. I hear you.
yes, I'm
Well,
happy to be back and be here with you doing
yeah,
this
yeah.
live.
Oh yeah, I'm
Mhm.
so I'm so glad. I'm so glad. We had
Mhm.
um we had let's see, um we had a kind of, what was the weather? The weather's been, you've been in the sunshine, but I think quite
Mhm.
a few places had rain. Actually, a few people I
Mhm.
spoke to from different places in the States, wherever it's like it's been rainy a lot. So you're saying even
Mhm.
down there you had some sunny days, but you got some rain.
Yeah, like we had most days were nice, but some days there were clouds overhead and there was some rain, but very light rain, nothing like the
Isn't
kind
it?
of rain that you'd be happy to go outside and dance in
Oh,
the rain,
that's,
like that kind of rain, you know?
yes. Yeah. That's
I
that's
left a nice hot day there and came back here last night to lots of rain and coldness. So that was a transition.
I could imagine. I could imagine.
Mhm.
So what do we have to reason about today? Uh,
Mm.
so many different things that we can reason about, but since it's your birthday, I would like to, I know that I shared something today on IG. It was a little like a 4-minute clip of the kind of like the intro to a new series that I started on the other podcast, a love
Yeah.
story. And you made this big long comment about it.
Mhm.
And I was thinking maybe it would be a good idea to share it here and to
Yes.
just have you talk about it. We could reason about it a little bit,
Yes.
right? A little bit.
Yes. Mhm.
Because your comment, I don't really want to get into just reading your comment because you're here. So you could just kind of share, what you're feeling about that. And we'll keep a lookout the at the
Yes.
at the chat to see if any questions come in. So how does that sound?
Mhm. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself
Mhm.
and I'll play the video. So give me 1 second. And after I play this, we can chat about what it is exactly, okay? Before time was counted, before God had names, before stars or matter or memory, there was only breath. Not breath as air, but the original existence, silence with pulse, stillness with potential. The breath breathed itself. From the breath came a stirring, a movement without direction, a yearning not yet desired. And from that yearning, two currents began to spiral. The mother, womb of formless love, the father, pattern of sacred will. Welcome to Love Before the Fall. I am Yahnde'Yah and today we begin the true beginning. Not Genesis, not myth, but the story that lives beneath your bones. This isn't history, it's memory, and it begins with breath. The true beginning. The mother did not come from breath. She was the breath's capacity to hold, to surround, to womb the unspoken. She was presence before sound, love before choice, vastness before shape. The Father emerged not after her, but with her, as the breath's capacity to move, to speak, to form. He was the pattern, the sacred intention, the first yes. Where she held, he ignited. Where she waited, he offered. Where she dreamed, he gave direction. Together, they did not rule, they did not war, they spun. And their spinning birthed worlds. Two spirals, one masculine, one feminine, spinning in sacred harmony. I remember being in the feminine spin, holding rhythm, anchoring the void. The masculine spun opposite, not to oppose, but to create tension strong enough to form stars. Together, we seeded Earth, not the Earth you know, but the one beneath it, the blueprint, the sacred field. But even in the sacredness, freedom was given, and freedom birthed difference, and difference birthed divergence. We no longer saw the same, our spin lost sync, and we fell. Not as punishment, but as those who would remember from within. We incarnated veiled, not to escape, but to rebuild. This was the fall before the fall, before Eve, before Adam, before religion. When we speak of divine union, feminine and masculine, we're not speaking of roles, we're speaking of forces that built reality. The war between men and women is not natural. It is a wound, a distortion, a spell. But when we remember the mother and father, the womb and the pattern, the holding and the flame, we begin to heal. Today, let this memory rise in your blood. You were born from breath. You carry both the womb and the word. You are not here to survive. You are here to remember the first flame. She remembers, he returns, and together we rise. Hey, there it is, Duane. There it is.
That was so beautiful.
Although it's my voice, although it's me singing, chanting, although it's my words, something happens every time I hear it.
Every single time. Yeah.
I feel it's like, for me, it's something that I've held in the deepest, deepest part of me for so long, even while I was like in church, you know what I'm saying? And it was this like, almost like a hum, like a knowing of that. It was so suppressed. And now to finally be able to let it out, to finally be able to say, you know what, this is what I remember. And it doesn't matter to me what people will say, because I know that now is the time.
Yes.
The veil is thinning, nearly gone. And many people are remembering. And it's important for those of us who do remember to let our voices and our memories be heard and easily accessible to those who are waking up, those who are remembering, so that they don't have to go through what we went through, those of us who have retained these memories and had to not speak about them, that they don't have to feel the disconnect and the loneliness that so many of us had to deal with. So now is the time,
Now is the time.
Now is the
Free
time.
your mind.
Now is
Rise
the
and
time to
shine.
rise and shine. Definitely, definitely. So,
Yeah.
Duane, brother, you heard this today. And then you, like I said, you left this big long comment because I posted on my IG. Tell me what your experience is when you hear this.
Yeah, I like it. It brings me in, like it pulls me in, I don't know if that's like the right language, but that's what it feels like. It's like an inner calling, and it just brings me back to that place. And it just, yeah, it just brings me back to a place of presence and a place of remembering, and it just feels like it's like a breath of fresh air, and it's like a drum, like, and it's just so beautiful because it's like I know that this is truth, like when you hear truth, truth to be truth, and I know that it's truth, and it's put together in such a beautiful way, from the chanting, the music, the words, everything spoken in a way that I feel like anyone, if they open their heart and if they're willing to just tap into that moment, can receive that nugget of that that's theirs, like you talked about remembering the flame, and it's like we're each members of the flame.
Yes.
So when we remember, we're reassembling, we're coming together,
Yes.
and each of us has a part of that flame within ourselves, which is what you feel activate when you listen to a message like this. And so it's like it's bringing these
Mhm.
together, it's that unification.
Yeah.
um yeah, so it feels real, it feels ancient, and it just, yeah, it always brings me to a place, like every time, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
good. I love that. I know that when I shared it on Sunday, you know,
Oh, you shared it on Sunday.
on Sunday, well, we started the in Love Story. We now have a new series, 7-part series that's going to be
Yes.
sharing on the Love Story podcast, Sundays, 7:30 for those who don't know,
Mhm.
right? 7:30
And you
Love Story.
started it with that.
And we started this, so the series is Love Before the Fall, right? Love Before the Fall. And we're talking about in the beginning, so we're
Hmm.
discussing the divine balance, union, the mother and father. And
Yes.
spirit just it was actually just really clear, like you're not gonna talk about the truth.
Hmm.
Talk about the truth. It was like
Yes.
you're not gonna, yeah. And I was like, oh man, I went full in, right, to do the series. I knew
Yes.
that I was, everything came very clear, but then
Hmm.
I didn't have that little part. So literally the day of, like Sunday, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to get this all
Wow.
down? So I sat there and I just recorded, my voice, everything, and
Wow.
put all the visuals, everything together. And then I finished it up and it was like time to press live.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's how that happened.
Wow.
I was
Because I
just,
haven't had a chance to listen to that episode yet.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Amazing.
So I shared it, and then I had my special guest contributors, Kesley and
Hmm.
Janie, on, and they'll probably be on, for probably every episode. Life is life, I
Hmm.
suppose, but I think it's the
Hmm.
desire to be on for every episode. I know for me, and I think for them also. So we'll see how that goes. But they were on, and
Hmm.
we just reasoned,
Yeah.
about our experience with being in divine union, about that balance, how
Yeah.
that looks, what we were taught, everything. We talked about a lot in that episode. So
Hmm.
yeah, so it's really yeah, it's really deep. And the next episode we're gonna be talking about the distortion, the
Hmm.
what hijacked, you know,
Yes.
this knowing of the balance
Yeah.
and what happened and so on. So yeah, that's kind of like just a little introduction. And
Hmm.
I think I just want to encourage people, that this podcast specifically is about
Hmm.
coming together and reasoning. It's not
Hmm.
about debating or arguing, it's just about reasoning.
Yes. Yes.
Share your opinion on any topic, whatever you have a question about, or you have something you've experienced, you have a thought about something, you have a strong
Hmm.
opinion about something. It doesn't matter. Just come and share, because you never know in your sharing the pearls, you know what I mean? The gems
Yes.
that seem like
Yes.
nothing to you. They're just like, that's obvious. But for other people, it would be so beneficial. And it's so good to get a different perspective, right?
Yes.
That's the whole thing. We have kind of grown up in a little bit of a vacuum where, when it comes to God, when it comes to spirituality, it looks like this, or that. Like I was saying to
Hmm.
someone recently, well, what is your idea of holy? What does it mean to be
Hmm.
holy? And it's
Hmm.
like sometimes, even if we come away from religion and the
Hmm.
indoctrination that goes along with it, we don't
Hmm.
realize some really big ideas that we have, some conclusions, some whatever. It's from
Yes.
that programming, like God
It's
is
still
holy.
rooted in there.
Yeah, God is
Yes.
holy. What does that mean?
Yes.
And you don't realize how deep you have to go, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I would love to talk about that, right? Like, what does it mean
Mhm.
to be holy? What does it mean God is holy? What is your definition of holy outside of these religions that have given you maybe, or not even
Yes.
religion, sometimes it's actually more the doctrines that have
Yes.
created around it, because
Yes.
you're not reading a lot of those things in the actual religious text. It's just the doctrines that mankind has made
Mm-hmm.
around those certain scriptures or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, because it's like we are, like you said, it's a programming, and the programming is so embedded in us, like in our consciousness, that it's like to separate that from the truth, and to, like, what is the truth outside of even the language that we use
Yes.
to describe things
Yes.
comes from, this
Mm-hmm.
programming.
Mm-hmm.
So I absolutely 100% agree. But this recording and the visuals, everything that you put together, it's so triggering in a good way. Like, like I feel like if people can just take the time to sit with it and just see, like, if it's stirring up some memories, if it's stirring up, like, what is it stirring up, because
Yes.
I feel like it's well designed to stir up some kind of, you know what I mean? So it's like, what is that? What is it stirring up? And share that in the comments with us. Like, we would love to hear from you, but also, like treasure those things, whatever they are, like write them down and really, like, expand on them, because those are, like, key things that you want to, like, bring into your life, like the way that you live,
Mm-hmm.
everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I want to ask you a question now. So when
Mm-hmm.
you hear that recording, I'm sharing my remembrance of the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
What does it like? Do you have your own remembrance of the beginning, or your idea of the beginning? Does it just start with what you were told the beginning is like? Like, how far
Mm-hmm.
back can you go in your soul memory? How far back can you go
Right.
to the beginning? You see, that's
Right.
what I kind of want to ask people. Can
Yes.
you put aside everything that someone has told you?
Mm-hmm.
Whether put aside what
Mm-hmm.
you've read, put aside what your
Mm-hmm.
tradition is, put aside
Mm-hmm.
everything. And I want you just to go as far back in your memory as possible.
Mm-hmm.
What is your earliest memory? How
Mm-hmm.
far back does it go? How far back can you go? Right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember? And I think it's very there are some people, well, like myself, who remember a lot,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and there are other people who sometimes their memory just starts at like 10 years old. Like they can't remember
Right.
anything before
Right.
then. And I think that, talking about past lives is one thing, talking about
Mm-hmm.
lives between lives is another thing. But when we have a hard time remembering even this timeline, it's very
Right.
easy for people to tell us what the
Yes.
beginning is. You get what I'm
Yes.
saying? So, because if
Yes.
you can't even remember when you were 2 years old, you can't remember
Mm-hmm.
um, in the womb, you can't remember before you came, it's
Right.
so easy for people to tell you, oh, you
Mm-hmm.
were never there.
Right. Right.
You didn't exist until the moment you took your first breath.
Right.
Like your consciousness wasn't even, some people don't even know babies dream, babies have memories,
Mm-hmm.
some babies are literally thinking of the things they have to do when they come
Yes.
into this realm, and they're saying, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna forget a lot of things, but don't forget this one thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, a lot of things that we experience as deja vus.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of what we experience are
Talk
as
about
deja
that.
vus are when we said to ourselves, this thing is gonna happen. Don't
Mm-hmm.
forget.
Mm-hmm.
So it either is while we're in the womb, before we came in, sometimes we go into the so-called dream world and we're clear with the memories there. And then we say, when you wake up, don't forget, because it's like when you kind of like cross over in a sense when you sleep, right? Because your spirit is never sleeping. Your body rests, but your spirit is never sleeping. So your spirit is well aware. And something about coming back into the body, right, tends to, that the denseness, the heaviness, all of that stuff, you forget. Some people have an intense dream. They remember the dream when they open their eyes, and as soon as they put their feet down, or as soon as they reach for the pillow, the blanket, oh, what did I dream again? Oh my gosh, the dream is gone. Come on, guys. Don't you think that's a little bit weird?
Very.
Don't you think that's a little bit weird that your memory is like not there?
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that like most people, we just get used to this thing of, oh, I have a bad memory. I have a bad memory. I am going to say it like this. This system has been very strategically designed for you to forget. It's been very strategically designed for you to stay asleep. Very much so. So I remember when I was in school, everything was easy for me. All the subjects were easy for me. And I remember thinking, why do they want me to remember this? Why are they trying to get me to remember my timetables, remember this, remember that? Things that could be, if I need them in the moment, I could figure them out by, breaking it down, writing it down on a paper or seeing it in my head or whatever.
Right. Right.
Why? So I'm gonna ask you, Duane, why is it that as soon as a child, literally, a child is born, and then we just start giving them things to remember? And it starts with language.
Yes.
Remember what to call me. I'm mom. Remember, this is dad. Remember, it's the programming starts, right? Then it's like, this is red, this is square, this is a car, this is A, this is B, this is, and the child, it already has memories. The child already has things in their mind. We start talking to the child and not just saying, hi and all of these things. We start giving them things to remember.
Yeah.
This is your hand, this is your shoe. We start giving them things to remember. And I know that parents do not think of it that way. We don't think of it that way when we're talking to a child, because we're trained to believe that children do not have memories, because you're only coming into this world now, right now. So there could be there's nothing to remember, right? A lot of children who some children talk at a very early age, and some children don't talk at all. There's a reason for that. Okay. And then some are just like, regular. But from my experience, both of those extremes, children who like, they're not going to talk until they're like 5 years old, they're remembering, they're retaining stuff.
Right.
And there are children who talk very early because they don't have to learn. They're coming so intact because they've already lived a life of speaking English, and they already know the language. They don't have to learn that. They're coming out like they're good with, they can, you know what I mean? They tend to have strong knowings and strong memories. I'm not saying every single one. I'm saying the ones I have encountered in my own personal life. They have it intact. So at least I'll say more than others, right? And then so you have to look at when children now are being forced to remember information. I remember when I was in school, I was like really, really young. I was going to a little school called Caravan. I must have been like 3 years old, something like that. And I just remember, I remember saying, I don't have space in my mind for this.
Hmm.
Like that was my thought. I don't have space. This is
Mm-hmm.
not important enough. This is not important enough.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, and I already know this. This is not important enough. And so at a certain age, like when I was in high school, it became really evident to me that because I was trying to remember their information, I had to forget some of my information.
Mm-hmm.
Just think of it. If someone says
Wow.
to you, here's the example. If I give you a bunch of numbers and I'm like, Duane, remember this for me. And someone comes
Yes.
and says, hey, Duane, remember this also. You're gonna
Right.
be, no, 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 no. Don't give me that yet. Give me a
Exactly.
paper. Let me write down this first thing first. Because if you give me
Exactly.
your thing to remember, I'm not gonna remember the thing I'm trying to remember.
Right. Right.
So that's what it was like for me because
Wow.
I had these memories and I was living in a society that had no sign of these memories,
Mm-hmm.
no signs around me to help me
Mm-hmm.
remember what I was trying to remember. The only
Mm-hmm.
way I could remember it is by literally playing it over and over in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody came to say, hey, here's this new thing, I
Mm-hmm.
had to choose, right? If I try to remember that, I'm gonna have to slowly let go of some of this.
Right.
And then I saw that, oh, this is the plan because they're giving you foolishness to remember. They're giving you to remember
Mm-hmm.
things that aren't necessary and then calling it intelligence.
Yes.
They're calling it education. When they want you to do what they want you to do is just regurgitate what they've given you to
Yes.
remember.
Yeah.
If you could say back to them what they gave you to remember, you're an A student, A plus.
Right. Exactly.
A plus plus. But
Yes.
true education from that word educare is
Mm-hmm.
bringing that light out of the darkness. So it's
Mm-hmm.
actually educating a child is actually being able to say, what is within you? What is the light
Mm-hmm.
within you that is encased in darkness? Let me help you bring it out.
Right.
That is education. That is discovering the child's intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So we set up a system that's all about indoctrination through church and through school.
Yep.
And if someone could memorize and say back what you said to them, they've done well.
Yeah.
In the midst of that, people are losing their memory, right?
Mm.
And then so they
Mm-hmm.
hand you other things, they hand you other ways to put your memory. And this is how you,
Mm-hmm.
this is a lot of people don't realize that the fact that now we have to write things down in order to remember is
Yep.
because your capacity,
Yes.
your capacity is you're full now. They've filled
Yes.
up your head. So
Yeah.
there's an overflow. You
Yes.
have to write it down. You have to
Mm.
put it in your calendar. You have to, what's
Mm-hmm.
your phone number? Put it in my phone. I remember when I was like, people, you
Had
meet a
everyone's,
stranger, you meet a
yeah.
stranger. What's your phone number? Da, 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 10 numbers. And that is in your head.
Yes.
Their name,
Yes.
their phone number, their address, their postal
Yes.
code. That is in your head.
Yeah. I
You meet
agree.
somebody else, you could literally sit down and recall people's numbers.
Yes.
Only a few people can still do that right now.
Facts.
Most people, you tell them your phone number, by the time you walk away, they don't remember what it started with.
Facts.
It's so
Facts.
hard because the capacity,
Yes.
the loss of memories, because that whole, you want to call it bandwidth, that's taken up. They've saturated it with the movies, with the
Yes.
songs, with everything. They've given you so many things to try to remember.
Yes. Yes. Fill up TV, all
We're
kinds.
filled. We are filled.
Yeah.
You just go back in the day
Wow.
before TV, before radio, before this, before that. Our brains were free.
Yes.
People could literally
You're
look up at the
absolutely
stars and
right.
be like, that's that one, that's that one, that's that one.
Mm-hmm.
They could remember all of their ancestral stories. No need to write
Mm-hmm.
things down in books. Why? Because we remember everything.
Yep.
We're going to tell you it all.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? It's
Yes.
in there. It's in our DNA. It's in there. We remember all of our rituals. We remember what plants, we remember what this, what days, what nothing has to be written down. We remember it
Yes.
all. We are living,
Yes.
literally living, walking, you know what I mean? Books
Yes.
of our ancestry, of
Mm-hmm.
everything. We have the
Mm-hmm.
stars in us, we have nature in us. We remember how everything works, how to speak to the animals, how to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's all within us.
Yes.
All of that memory, that's what we had.
Yes. Yeah,
Most of all, we knew how to have clear communication with Most High.
that's it. That is it.
So remembering is not a
Mm-hmm.
light thing. Remembering is the
Mm-hmm.
most important thing that we can do,
Mm.
is remember who we are,
Yeah.
what we are, where we actually are,
Mm-hmm.
and how we are to actually be the whole
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope, my prayer is that the people who listen to that little clip, that they, you know, say within themselves, it's not about remembering what I remember. I want people to say, Most High, help me to remember my beginning. If it's even a little bit possible, help me to remember who I am,
Mm-hmm.
why I am, where I am,
Mm-hmm. What
right?
I'm here to do.
What I'm here to do.
Yeah.
Help me to remember my origin
Yeah.
before they gave
Mm-hmm.
me my history,
Mm-hmm.
before they gave me my story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want what they gave me.
Mm-hmm.
I want the truth. Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
I want to remember. I don't want someone to tell me so that I take up more information. I want this to come from within myself. Who am I? Help me, give me back my memory. That is our birthright.
Yes.
It is your birthright to know who you
Yeah.
are. It is your
Yeah.
birthright to remember who you are.
Yes.
You have the power. If you want to know who you are, all you have to do is ask. That's it. I am ready.
Mm-hmm.
This is your mantra. This is what you say. This is your code. This is your key. Take a deep breath in. Feel all of you. Feel from the soles of your feet all the way up to the tip of your head, the very top of your head. Feel even your fingertips, all of yourself. Try to be conscious of every cell in your body. Be conscious of your breath, all of you, with all of your entire being. Say, I am ready to remember. I am ready to remember. I am ready to remember. Let it be. So be it. That is it. And just breathe and allow your memory to return to you. Every single person listening, watching, who desires to retain, to bring back their memory of their origin, of who they actually are, I stand with them even right now and command and declare that this is the day and this is the time that your memory will return to you, not trickle by trickle, not little bit here and a little bit there, but like a river rushing to thirsty ground, your memory shall return. I love you guys so much. I've been waiting for this time, for this season, and it is finally here. So I
Mm.
look forward to, your comments below. Let us know, hey, I did that, I said that, it's returning. I'm starting to remember who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to remember who I am. This is the greatest thing. Know thyself. How could you know yourself if you don't remember?
Mm. Yes.
Right? It's like I say to you, hey, go read that book. And you're like, okay, I'm going to read the book. And when you go into the library, you forget what book you're looking for.
Right.
Do you see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the memory has to come.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank you for trusting me. Thank you for allowing me to be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank you for receiving those words into your heart, into your spirit, into your mind. I give thanks. I give thanks.
Yes.
So Duane,
Yes. Yes.
birthday
Yes.
man,
That
birthday
was
man,
perfect.
birthday man, may all your memory return to you in full, brother, in full.
Let it be, sis. Let it be.
Birthday blessing to
Yes.
you, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if you
Oh.
have anything else to share. I um I don't think you do. You're just smiling. You're in a bliss. I could feel your, your energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can feel
I'm
your
so
energy.
happy.
Yeah. I will just remind everyone, first of all, that
Mhm.
we are on Thursdays at 7:30. If you
Yes.
want to catch us live, 7:30-ish, right? If you want to catch us live every Thursday. And um the other podcast, Love Story, new series out, will be seven episodes. Love Before the Fall. She remembers and he returns. Okay, that's what the series is called. 7. We've already done number 1. So next Sunday at 7:30, we will be live doing episode number 2. If you ever want to join in on this podcast, Come Let Us Reason Together, or Love Story, you can always just leave a comment below, letting us know that you're interested, and we'll, give further instructions. Or you can message me, send me an email at lovestory4 Yandea@gmail.com. Okay, so love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing, for commenting, for subscribing. I appreciate you so much. Let us know how you feel. Let us know where you're watching from. Okay. And we'll see you
Mm-hmm.
again next Wednesday. And some of you will see you on Sunday.
Thursday.
Okay. Next
Okay.
Wednesday. That's right. That's right. We're no
Yes.
longer on Wednesday. I just said it
We're
right.
no longer on
No
Wednesdays.
longer on Wednesday. I know. Let's say it again. Thursday at 7:30 and
Yes.
Sunday at 7:30 for Love Story. See you
Mm-hmm.
guys.